Hi there everybody, I'm Fred Thomas and you are watching All Things Bike, and today we are speaking with Chris Darling, Race Director of Crank the Kanc. Chris, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Oh, good. Great to have you here. Tell us about the Crank the Kanc event. What is it? Some people may have no idea what it is.
The Crank the Kanc race is a bicycle time trial, an uphill time trial. 21.3 miles. It's for the benefit of the Kanc cycling team.
Right, and the key point here is for the Kanc High School cycling team, but also this is an uphill time trial. I mean, it's not just any hill we're talking about. It's not Mount Washington, but it's a cousin. I mean, where's the Kancamagus? Is it a mountain?
The Kancamagus is a highway in New Hampshire.
Right.
It's a state road. The race has been going on for about 34 years.
34.
It's one of the New England classics. A lot of racers use it as a sort of a test piece for some of the other events.
Yeah.
Mount Washington and some of the other mountain climbs. So, but again, it's to support the Kanc mountain bike team and promoted by the co-promoted by the Mount Washington Valley Bicycle Club.
Right, and it is an epic event. I mean, it has a cult following, and yeah, I mean, people come from quite far away to do it. I mean, describe the course here, and describe the kind of people who are turning up for it.
A lot of the racers over the past 30 years and in the last 20 years I've been promoting it it's definitely changed. It used to be sort of a grassroots event. I mean, I raced it myself many years ago, I think in 1989 and 90 in high school. Back then when you're flipping through the back cover of Velo magazine, looking for some events to do. And then I started working at the high school in 1998, and a gentleman, Phil Ostrowski, was putting together a bike team and wanted to get some support together, and so we had took over promotion from the Outing Club, this Crank the Kanc bicycle race.
Right.
And so over time there's been just a change from a grassroots. I think in 2006 we posted the registration on Bikereg, which seemed to generate a lot of racers from around the country and even internationally from Canada and Ireland and places. So we've had a number of people race, and so the caliber of athletes have definitely increased over time.
Right.
So
I'll say, and because the race always sells out. I mean, it's like the cycling or the bicycle equivalent of the running race in Cape Elizabeth. That one that sells out.
Beach to Beacon.
Yeah, that's right. Beach to Beacon. Thank you very much. Well, I mean, describe the course. I mean, it's uphill, but I mean, give us a better sense because it's
the course starts at the Fish and Game parking lot, basically, which is just down the street from the Forest Service Saco River Forest Station. Right. It's 21.3 miles. The beginning of the race is very deceptive. It's until you hit mile marker 17, it's false flat, which is about a 1 or 2, maybe a 3% grade.
Right.
And there's a lot of scenic vistas. You can see some of the painted walls, rocky gorge, and occasionally Mount Washington peeks through.
Right.
That all ends at mile marker 17 when you hit the real climb. It's about a 4.3 mile drag, averaging about 7 to 8% to height of land.
Well, and what's the elevation when you get to the top? Do you know that off the top
I believe it's around 2,700 feet, 2,800 feet.
So I mean, you're up there, and it's almost like two races. You got this sort of flatter thing, and then suddenly it's climbing without end. And what are some of the recommendations for an athlete who's considering doing this event?
Like I said, when we first started, there was a lot of just kind of locals that would do that with just general road bike setup. And over time, a lot of the individuals that were coming through were using some of the time trial specific bikes, maybe clip-on aero bars, or now full time trial equipment. More on the side of a hill climb bicycle, really lightweight, and really fast. Right.
And are there any sort of restrictions, like you can't have a certain kind of equipment, or any sort of regulation like that, or it's pretty much?
We've had a number of individuals ask questions. There was some individuals that wanted to race on a tandem bicycle, and we thought about that, and we have a new category for the tandem bikes. There are some individuals that race mountain bikes. there's a small group of individuals that really enjoy single-speed bicycles and thought it'd be great to ride a single-speed bike uphill, and which is quite a feat.
Yeah.
We've had some adaptive hand-cycled athletes that have come up.
Right.
And race the Kanc uphill, so that's quite amazing. So, lots of equipment.
And there's team time trials too, right? You can sign up as a group, or
that's a new event that we involved a few years ago, as far as the team time trial. It was an interesting endeavor in the beginning. Not a lot of people, I think, have done a team time trial and didn't quite realize it's the last man or woman in your group that gets the time. So that took a few years to sort of get that timing down. But I see a lot of the recurring teams come through and really enjoy riding as a team.
Yeah, that's great. And you mentioned that the event has evolved over the years. I mean, 34 years. I'm sure there's been some incredible changes. One of them is it's included in the B.U.M.P. series, which is I guess a series of time trials that go up hills.
Right.
Yeah,
the B.U.M.P. series director, I believe, is Tom Coughlin, and they approached me a year or two ago about possibly putting Kanc the Kanc as far as a race in that series of events. There's a number of them. They have a Facebook page.
Yeah.
I believe some of those events. There's May 12th is a Wachusett Hill Climb. That's coming up. May 19th is Kanc the Kanc. That's part of the series.
Right.
August 18th is Mount Washington, the classic.
Oh yeah, right.
And August 25th, Mount Kearsarge, and I believe September 8th, Mount Greylock is also involved in that. So it's just a small point series that people can earn points if they do all those races, and that's sort of regulated through this B.U.M.P. series.
And tremendous street cred too, if you've managed to do all of those. What about weather? Is it a rain or shine event? Because sometimes, I mean, mid-May, it's warming up, but stranger things have happened.
Weather can be an issue. We've had everything, or experienced everything as far as weather. Many years ago, we had one day it was 90+ degrees, even at height of land. Wind can always be a factor coming through the notch.
Right.
Rain. One year we had to call the race at mile marker 17 because there was 6 inches of snow at the top. So. The month of May can be rather tricky. Yeah. So you have to just be ready.
Be ready and keep an eye on the weather map. Well, what about some of the times? I mean, the times have gotten faster over 34 years, right? I mean, it used to be. I mean, I don't know. Were people keeping track of the time?
We do. We have records of some of the times. A few years ago, we started offering cash prizes.
Right.
For some of the to encourage some of the more elite athletes to try our race, and the times definitely have come down. I believe Ward Solar was a local that held the record for a long time. Yeah. 1 hour, 2 minutes, and 18 seconds.
Wow.
And then I believe it was 2000. Let's have it. 2013, Timothy Ahern.
Yeah, right.
And 58:02.
Yeah.
Which is a crazy fast time. Crystal Anthony holds a record at 1 hour, 7 and 32 seconds.
Wow.
I believe.
I mean, that is
for the women's record.
Yeah, that is fast. I mean, you've done the race. So, I mean, what do you think is the hardest part of it? I mean, it's all uphill. But is there some moment where you really, have it fixed in your head that this is very difficult and I want it to end?
Back many years ago when I raced the first time, riding on the flat section, that false flat this is pretty nice, and then you hit the climb at mile 17, and this is great. There's a point in the race though where you can start to see height of lane. You turn a corner, and you realize I'm almost done, but you still have about 2.1 miles left of climbing. So it's really deceptive.
Right, that moment. I think I know where that is.
Yeah, you just got to give it your all. So.
I know. Well, just let us know exactly what the timing is and how people sign up for this event.
So the sign up actually came to a completion. It's on Bikereg, as you mentioned. It does sell out quite fast. We do have a wait list though, so those individuals that might still want to register, you can register on the wait list as possible as spots become open. But time is short. We usually post the registration openings around March. And within 24 to 48 hours, sometimes they sell out. This year it took about a week to fill up, but people are really excited, especially being at the beginning of the season. So.
Yeah, no, that's great, Chris. And if anything, people can watch this episode and they'll know about it for next year, and they'll mark their calendars and they'll turn up and they will experience the challenge. That's great. Thanks so much for coming down and telling us about it, Chris.
Sure, no problem. Thank you.
All right, everybody, that was Chris Darling, the race director of Crank the Kanc, an uphill time trial held on the Kancamagus Highway just outside of Conway, New Hampshire. You can learn more about the event by going to Bikereg, and you can even get on the wait list if you are trying to get into the race this year. Otherwise, you can race it next year. That's all we got time for right now. Thanks so much for watching, and we will talk to you again soon.
All Things Bike with Fred Thomas is brought to you by Zentis, performance carbon wheels handmade in Austria for road and off-road riding. Zentis, next generation wheels. And Frame and Wheel eBay bike selling services. Time, space, cash. Pick 3. And AD Bikes, the modern face of Austro-Daimler cycling and the bike company of the future.